Hi everyone, so I know that usually I do relationship videos on Wednesdays. This one is still relationships, but it's about family members, and what I want to talk about in this video is breaking free from toxic family members. So being part of a family, as we all know, is you've got no choice. In some cases you do have a choice because maybe you've joined a blended family, maybe you have the option to call people your family who are not family by blood, but in most cases people who form part of a family where it's by birth, there can still be that level of tension and toxicity. And when you're in that situation where you've maybe tried to make it work, where you have tried everything to try to understand the person, you've tried to change your attitude towards the person, you've tried everything you can, but it's still not working, then sometimes you have to say to yourself, well, what can I do in this situation? And it can be really tough because anytime you're making a decision that involves family, it's full of emotion. And also there can be lots of consequences because maybe you're breaking free from one toxic person in the family, but then other family members might take their side. You might be ostracized from your family. So I think for many people, that's one of the reasons they stay within these toxic situations, because they feel like they'll be isolated from the rest of the family. So the thing to think about is, if this situation is causing you harm or distress, if this situation, you've tried everything but nothing has been able to resolve it, if you are suffering emotionally, it's affecting your day-to-day living, it's consuming your mind, it's just having an impact in lots of ways, then that is when you need to consider, do I need to take this step to break free from this toxic family member? So you might take a range of actions leading up to this. The first action you could consider is to actually sit down with that person one-on-one and to have a very frank and open conversation. Now, you don't want to make yourself vulnerable, so you're not going to put yourself in a position where they can use that against you. So you only have to share what you feel comfortable sharing with the person. So it might be very matter of fact, or it might be you might just say to that person, we've been butting heads for a while, or some of the things you've said to me or you've done have had this impact on me. How can we change it? If that doesn't work, the sit down, maybe you can use a third person, a third party, whether that's a counsellor, or it could be someone within the family who knows both of you and is going to take a neutral stand. That can sometimes help. An uncle, a parent, that can sometimes help. The next thing to think about is to weigh up, think about it, put it in perspective, say to yourself, am I just saying that this person's toxic because we've had one row, 6 months ago? Is it coming from me because of something I'm going through in my life? Or could it be that you add it all up and you say, well, there's been quite a few incidents recently and they've always ended the same. So my conclusion is that we're oil and water, and this is having a massive impact. I have to make a step. If it comes to that stage, then your decision would be, you may say, I can still be around that person at family functions. I'm not going to do a complete cut off. I can still be in the same company as them, but I'm going to distance myself in that way. I'm just going to be civil. Or you might go to the fact where you say, I don't even want to be around them. If they're going to be attending a specific family event, I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to engage with them. And so there's different routes you can go down. The main thing is you have to think. You also have to consider the consequences. But if it's your mental well-being that is taking a hit, then that's the biggest thing. If other people then decide they don't want anything to do with you because you've cut off this person, because it could be a popular person in the family, it could be someone who brings the family together. So the idea of you not speaking to them, they might say, well, it's your fault, you're the one that's at fault. But you have to do what's right for you. And then you have to also take time to grieve the loss as well. Even though this person has probably been toxic and it's been really horrible being around them, when you cut someone off from your family and you're never going to speak to them again, or the relationship is not going to be the same, you do go through a period of grieving, because it's almost like, that's still my sister, my brother, my uncle, my auntie. They're still part of my family. We've still had memories together, but we're not going to have that anymore. So give yourself time and space to heal from that. But I will say to people, it can be done. I've not had what I would call toxic members of my family, but I have had take time out from a few family members, and I'm from a big family, so you can imagine. But it hasn't felt as bad as I thought it would, because when the person is no longer in your life, it gives you time to take stock of what your relationship really was like. So, and you can sometimes breathe and say, do you know what, I don't even miss that person. But for me, like in my situations, I would always try to still attend family functions, be around the family as a whole, and just be civil. It's still your sibling, it's still your relative, it's still your as I said, auntie, uncle, whoever it is, parent, even if it's a parent. So there is a way to do it, but it is going to have a cost attached. But if your mental health is suffering as a result, or if you just think, you know, this is going nowhere, we're arguing all the time, we're like oil and water, and you've come to that conclusion, then just make that decision. So let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.